I love professional wrestling. It's a very big part of my life because it's something I've been watching since I was 4 years old. I remember very vividly when someone asked me what I would love to do when I grow up. I answered, anything to do with wrestling. Obviously that seemed impossible because I was living in a small town of Lithuania, so yeah. But if you told 7-year-old me that in the future I will get paid for talking about wrestling, I would be the happiest kid in the world. I guess the point I'm trying to make is wrestling is a very big part of my life because it's something that's on my mind every single day. Which is why it hurts for me to say that this is actually my last video on YouTube. Just kidding, that's not the point of the video. It's 2020 right now, and I still love professional wrestling. It's something I will never completely grow out of, I guess. But sometimes I feel, especially right now, like I lost a lot of passion for the sport. Even back when I thought that wrestling is getting worse in like 2012, 13, 11, I thought wrestling is getting worse, but I was so passionate about it. I used to care about every title change, about every burial, about every new star. And lately it's just not the same anymore. And I wonder why. I remember I was so obsessed with the WWE, it was part of my identity in a way. I used to listen to WWE's theme songs. I remember one time I RKO'd my classmate. A girl, not my proudest moment. And then it turned into a hobby. For fun, I started making YouTube videos. And that's when I, well, got a career in a way. Like, just because of me watching wrestling as a kid, now I have a house, a car, everything I needed actually. That's pretty cool. I started with custom Titantrons, then I made some 2K videos, then I started using my voice, but then finally I realized, you know what, I want to be a YouTube personality. I didn't think much of it, you know. I was very surprised that people still watched me, even though, yes, I still have a very bad accent, but back then, man, if you would listen to me.
Everybody loved Cody Rhodes until he decided to play a gimmick of a creepy guy who probably touches himself watching Star Wars.
Yeah. Exactly. I've been doing this for like, I don't know man, 6 or 7 years. I'm wondering if my job wasn't talking about wrestling, if I would still be watching it. Again, don't get me wrong, it's still something I really love, but not as much as I used to, if that makes any sense. It's something I will forever watch, but I hope the passion for it, the interest I guess, will return. I've noticed that I always lose a lot of interest in wrestling once someone that I really like leaves, and I'm sure that's the case with you guys as well. I mean, when I saw Edge leaving, that sucked. When CM Punk left, also lost a lot of interest in wrestling. Daniel Bryan leaving was tough. And when John Cena left, it kinda felt like WWE lost its soul. It felt like a main character of a TV show left the show, and then the show is trying new things but never really nails it. I guess the first time I really got tired of wrestling was back in 2017, when SmackDown in 2016 felt very good, but then in 2017 we got the draft, and it was just so bad. Jinder Mahal as a champion, I liked the moment when he won the title, but SmackDown back then was barely watchable. What a bad show. Sure, it had some good moments, but for the majority of the time, I felt like 2017 was one of the worst years of the WWE, and maybe that's because 2016 was that good. I don't know why, but sometimes I feel like 2016 was the last good year of the WWE. Everything felt fresh, we got a brand split, people like Dolph Ziggler got opportunity, The Miz versus Ziggler was absolutely amazing, The Miz's title reign was something else, AJ Styles was on SmackDown, AJ versus Cena, Dean versus AJ, all of it was just absolutely amazing for a wrestling fan. But I'm wondering if it was actually that good, or was it because back then I was like 16 years old and maybe I just remember 2016 wrestling because of nostalgia. I mean, I was still pretty young, and even though my life kinda sucked back then, I always look back and remember these times as good times, even though they really weren't. There's a really good quote in The Office. I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them. Maybe in like 2025, I will look back in 2020 and remember how good wrestling was. Drew McIntyre as a champion, Jon Moxley winning the belt, AEW versus NXT every week. On paper, it sounds like wrestling's fun, right? So I'm wondering, why am I losing interest? You probably noticed I'm not making a lot of Raw and SmackDown reviews, I'm not making NXT reviews, AEW reviews, and that's basically because I'm barely watching WWE right now. I'm trying to, I keep up with it, but for the last couple of weeks I'm just skipping it. I don't like wrestling right now, and maybe that's because there's no audience, because of what's going on in the world. Maybe that's what completely destroyed my interest in WWE at the moment. I still like the sport, I like what it's all about, but the current product, it makes me feel sad watching it, if that makes any sense. I understand that this is how it's supposed to be, but I wish WWE and AEW and everyone really took a break, so instead of me losing interest, I would miss wrestling. Obviously that's not possible, they have TV deals. I'm just saying, it would be fun to actually miss wrestling instead of watching this watered down version. I know we have a crowd kinda right now, but since it's a lot of NXT wrestlers, we know it's fake. And I know wrestling is scripted, but what's real is people's reactions. You forget that it's scripted, you don't care, you just live in the moment. And like I've said before, a big part of a match, of a moment, anything related to wrestling is an audience, one of the most important parts. And now it's not the same, it's kinda cringy in a way. I'm wondering what kind of a show WWE are going to do once we will have an audience. I really hope it's gonna be something big. I'm sure the audience is gonna be absolutely wild. It's gonna be just like Raw after WrestleMania. People are gonna go nuts for every entrance, moment, match, and I cannot wait. If I wasn't a YouTuber, I would skip to that moment. I wouldn't watch wrestling, anything related to wrestling. I would start watching again once we have an audience. But even if we look a few years back, yes, wrestling's cool, I like it, but there was already a big difference. For example, back in 2011, 12, 13, even though I really hated wrestling, I thought I hated wrestling, I was so passionate about it. I remember John Cena versus CM Punk, and how much I wanted CM Punk to win, and how much I disliked Cena, but in a way, it was good that John Cena was overpushed, because I was passionate. I really wanted CM Punk and all of these other guys to win against Cena, and it never happened. It made me angry. The next time I wanted it even more. It's crazy how it works. Maybe Vince McMahon knew what he was doing, I don't know. It's interesting because that's exactly the same thing that we got with Roman Reigns, but I don't feel like it was the same. I feel like people were just like, okay, that's just another Cena, overpushed, we don't care. The only time I remember really caring about a Roman Reigns match and feeling like, okay, there's this guy that needs to win, hopefully he is, I know he's not gonna win, but he really needs to, AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, I believe that was the only good WWE Championship rivalry with Roman Reigns. I'm pretty sure some of you lost interest along the way as well. Sometimes you lose interest, something big happens, you're back. And maybe we need that moment again. Maybe we need another CM Punk versus John Cena rivalry. Maybe we need another pipe bomb. Maybe we need another Daniel Bryan story. Lately it's just WWE changing writers, changing this, changing that, introducing new ideas that don't work, and they remove that a couple of weeks later and just trying new things but never committing to it. And if the company itself doesn't feel like it's entertaining enough, the audience is gonna react the same way. But let me know in the comments below. Are you still interested in wrestling? Are you losing interest? Are you still watching wrestling? I've seen some people saying, I don't watch wrestling, I just watch your channel. Which is cool. That's awesome. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I will be interested again. But for now, it's just reviewing stuff. I'm not watching it for my pleasure. I know what's good, what's bad, but I don't get really entertained that much. It's like watching people training when it comes to WWE being in Performance Center. I don't know what's the point of this video. I guess to get things off my chest a little. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about wrestling right now? The Great One, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure. Also, because I love nostalgia, I find myself actually enjoying all these legends returning to the WWE. I think it's actually pretty fun. So maybe all it takes is a few legendary WWE superstars, bringing back the entertainment to the WWE.